What's good, everyone? Welcome back to another video. I know it's been a while since my previous post, which was about the NBA draft grades, but since the NBA offseason's been rolling and summer league's been rolling as well, I've been just, kicking back. We're waiting for more news to happen. But obviously, the offseason's kind of slowed down, and it's been, a lot of waiting for like the Jalen Duren news, LeBron news, and so forth. So, I just want to go over what all the offseason moves has already happened, and because I'm just so excited for the NBA to like the NBA season to start already, because man, like these teams look so different now. Like last year we were promised a type of offseason like this, and it's happened this year. Like this year a lot of moves has happened. So I'm gonna just go over like briefly over every team's like moves, pretty much winners and losers uh around this sense. Like the NBA has like this NBA free agency tracker pretty much updated a good amount. And we'll start off with the Atlanta Hawks. I mean, they only bring back CJ McCollum on a 1 year deal. Jock Landale also, who who's good offensively, but CJ, I like him because he'll be able to mentor Kingston Flemings over there, and he signed just a cheap deal. Now they traded for Devin Carter, who's a really good defensive guy coming out of Providence, and the Kings had him, but he didn't play a lot. But another guard that could play defense over there. I really like what the Atlanta Hawks are doing. I wouldn't be surprised if they were like a top 3, top 4 seed next season, because like they're heading in the right direction. Aaron Wiggins also, they get him on cheap deals. We already know he was one of the first deals that happened in the offseason. Like two second rounders for Aaron Wiggins. So he's a guy who can shoot. I wonder how much he plays though. The Boston Celtics, Ron Harper, they got deals on cheap deals like Neemias Queta, a really good rebounder that they really liked. But they also added Mitchell Robinson on a 3 year deal, who's an amazing offensive rebounder. We've seen him over the time for the New York Knicks. So that is a really, really big deal. Mike Conley, a vet. And obviously the Paul George trade, which everyone feels like the Celtics got fleeced. In my opinion, it would have been cool if they got, obviously everyone thinks that they could have got better for Jaylen Brown, but I think the league just viewed Jaylen Brown like less than what NBA fans think of him. So this was probably maybe the best offer they could get, because they went from Giannis Antetokounmpo talks to obviously Paul George now. Paul George, he's aging, he's 36, and he's gonna be on this deal, and then next year he's gonna be on a player option. So what I'm thinking from a Celtics perspective, that they go out in free agency next year after this year, and they try to sign somebody else, and then Paul George extends for like way less money, and or they trade for somebody else next season. But I don't know. I feel like Paul George, he could play well for the Celtics, and considering how they play, like they play really spread out. They move the ball a lot, and that's something that Jaylen Brown wasn't really doing a lot. He would usually, slow down the offense when the Celtics are trying to pick up the pace. And yeah, and his defense did take a dip after that finals run against the Mavericks. So it really wasn't the same after that. But yeah, overall, I mean Tatum's their guy. I don't hate it at all because Tatum is their guy. He should be leading the team, and I like the depth more for the Celtics. Like the depth for the Celtics is still the same, and I think it's nice. All they lost was Nikola Vucevic, and obviously JB in the part of the trade. Vuce, he signed like a 1 year deal over there. The Magic, crazy. The Brooklyn Nets, I was kind of underwhelmed, but since like the Julius Randle trade, because they were just making anything. Like I mean, Josh Minot on the 2 year deal, I liked. Day'Ron Sharp, they bringing back. So all the guys they brought back, I really like. Keon Ellis on a 2 year deal. Um, I mean, I guess. I wonder how he's gonna play because they have so many guards already since they drafted a lot, and now they bring on another guy, Keon Ellis. So the rotations for the Nets was gonna look pretty interesting. Um, Mo Wagner on a 2 year deal. Not really a big fan of that, but whatever. It's a whatever a deal. And then they send Nick Claxton, a part of the Julius Randle trade, because they had to free up some money, and he goes to the Bulls for practically nothing. Charlotte Hornets, they extended Kobe White. Now, how I think, because after bro, I don't know why I started with the Kobe White, but like They traded LaMelo Ball. They traded LaMelo Ball. We didn't talk about this. Um, and they traded Miles Bridges. So practically, this new front office, this they wanted to start from scratch. I don't know. Maybe because they didn't want to extend LaMelo Ball. Also Miles Bridges. I get why they don't want to, keep Miles Bridges. Like he's pretty much like a negative impact. He's not really worth it. So they just got back Grayson Allen, Dorian Finney-Smith, Royce O'Neal, and then Nas Reed, a part of that LaMelo trade. Um, I mean, man, I think I think for the Wolves, it was a good buy. I'm gonna be honest, it was a good buy. Like the Wolves, they needed that point guard so desperately that they needed, and they really did it. The Hornets, I felt like it was a hard deal for them to make because man, they were really clicking, man, and it's so crazy how much that that they broke up the guys that they were really clicking at the end of the year, and now it's gone. Now they're like pretty much building around Brandon Miller and Con Knipple. Um, and they obviously drafted Heinz Steinbach, who's a really good rebounder. Christian Anderson, don't see him starting. And that's where we go back to Kobe White. I see Kobe White starting, considering they got the 3-year deal. He's more, proven. And who knows, maybe over time, Christian Anderson develops and becomes a starter later on in his career. But as of right now, these rookie guards, the, these guards, they take time to develop longer than everyone else. So I wouldn't be surprised, but man, I thought the Hornets would practically be a playoff team. But as of right now, I have questions, man. Like, how is this team gonna operate? Um, so yeah, man. To the Bulls, my Bulls, they didn't really do anything crazy in the offseason, really. They just took on Nick Claxton's contract. They signed Norman Powell on a 2-year deal, which I like because it wasn't too long of a deal, and this is practically like after the peak of Norman Powell. We already know he's probably gonna regress, but he adds a shooter in the rotation. Zach Collins back doesn't really matter. And all they lost was Sexton, Simons, and Mo Gay. Not the Mo Gay from the Hawks. It was another Mo Gay, but practically not a crazy like offseason free agency for the Bulls. It was just for the draft. Like without Caleb Wilson and Swain, yeah, this team wouldn't see a lot of hype, to be honest. The Cavs, underwhelming, man, underwhelming. But this is where we bring in the LeBron news. Like maybe LeBron comes back, and like James Harden, he declined his option, so we're looking to see he gets less because they're still paying Mobley. Donovan Mitchell just got a max deal that kicks in next season. Jared Allen still got 2-3 years, I believe, left on his deal. I mean, they lose Larry Nance, Keon. The biggest loss, in my opinion, would be Dean Wade. He was a really good rotational guy who could play defense uh, for the Cavs. But now, like, man, like they brought back Thomas Bryant. I mean, I get it. They have Jared Allen and Evan Mobley who switch out rotation, so they don't really, I guess, need a backup big. But my opinion, I think a good backup big is good insurance. Whether like you have an injury or like in a game, close game, one of your bigs, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, is in foul trouble. You don't have like I don't like going small and or sending Thomas Bryant out there. Like I don't really like that. I felt like they should have drafted a big like Terrace Reed Jr. or Zuby Ejiofor. Probably most likely Terrace Reed Jr. was more gettable, but I think I think they traded back once, whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it's underwhelming unless like they bring LeBron. That's really it. Dallas Mavericks, they didn't really resign anybody. They added Santi Aldama in a trade where it involved Chris Middleton. So Chris Middleton's getting shipped off back to the Washington Wizards. And they got Santi Aldama, Marcus Sasser, trade from the Pistons, and Tariq Biberovic. Sorry if I butchered his name. Marvin Bagley leaves them. AJ Johnson trade from the Grizzlies. AJ Johnson, man, he's been a journeyman since he got in the league, right? Since he got in the but yeah, not really big signings for the Mavericks. Kind of underwhelming. Um, the Denver Nuggets, I mean, underwhelming as well. I mean, these guys, they have so many guys under contract. Like they got Christian Brown, obviously Jamal Murray, Jokic, and they're looking to probably re-sign Peyton Watson, maybe on a $20 million a year deal, which is pretty insane to me. But that's probably gonna happen. Like their contract issue is gonna be crazy. So I don't know. I feel like the Nuggets, they're not moving to get better. They're just staying stagnant and just letting it die. And they also lose one of their guys, Tim Hardaway Jr., who was in the like I think he was a finalist for Sixth Man of the Year. He was in the running of it. I know that. They bring back Tyus Jones. They add in Marvin Bagley, which is okay as a rotational guy. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's pretty much going to be the same team as of now. Their only draft pick was Brazil in the second round, I believe, and from Arkansas. So that's pretty much underwhelming over there. I don't know if they got to trade whether Jamal Murray soon or unfortunately maybe Aaron Gordon. Even though I'd rather keep Aaron Gordon, but it just sucks. The Pistons. Some people, I mean, the Pistons. I think people felt like they were gonna go all in on like a secondary scorer, but they just didn't because now Cade. Well, what they brought in was a sign and trade for John Collins on a 3-year deal. Like John Collins, I think he's okay. He's a good like rotational guy. He's not butt at all, right? But he's not gonna be like the secondary guy you look to like score in the playoffs, right? Like obviously Jalen Duren, he's supposed to be that guy. He underperformed last playoffs, but after that, it's John Collins. I mean, Tobias Harris, he was pretty much doing what he had to do. He was pretty consistent in terms of like scoring damn near 20 points a game in the playoffs. So I didn't really I don't know. I'd rather keep Tobias over John Collins in my opinion, but they got in John Collins. They got Gary Harris, Isaiah Joe, Torian Prince in trades. We'll see if they still got it. I like the Isaiah Joe pickup at least because he could really show that he could shoot the ball. Torian Prince, we've seen him being rotational for key playoff teams. Sometimes he could be inconsistent, but we'll see if he goes back to his old form. And yeah, they brought back Kevin Herter for 3 years. I like him as a shooter. I think he is pretty impactful, but we ought to see for the next 3 years if he could keep doing that. Javante Green on a 1-year deal, I like it. The guys they lost, obviously Tobias Harris, big loss. Karis LeVert, it was fine to trade them away for like guys like Gary Harris and Torian Prince. I'm like okay with it. Marcus Sasser, damn, he got traded to the Mavericks. That's okay. And then Isaiah Stewart, they shipped him off to the Grizzlies, I believe, for some picks. And I mean, it is what it is. Like you got Paul Reed as a backup already. Like I think they're fine with Paul Reed as a backup, so they're fine with shipping off Isaiah Stewart. So it's a pretty like mediocre offseason for them. But hopefully, I mean, Cade, he's gonna keep performing how he is, but it's gonna suck in the playoffs if he's still, you know, losing the ball and turning the ball over so much. Because no one else could handle the rock. But hey, I guess Ibuka Okori is gonna be the guy for them to do that, right? That's why they drafted him. The Golden State Warriors, man, it's been a mess, man. They've been in talks to getting Anthony Davis, LeBron James. Looks like they're probably not gonna get either. All they did was get Charles Bassey, Al Horford, D'Anthony Melton, Kristaps Porzingis back, and then they lost Quinn Post, which they could have matched the contract, but they said no. It was like a 3-year, $30 million deal. And yeah, the Warriors, they're pretty much stagnant. They're gonna be pretty bad. The bright side is them just drafting Yaxel, plugging them in the rotation, and hoping Jimmy Butler comes back sooner than later. But yeah, not really high on this Warriors team at all. So yeah, it's pretty underwhelming season for them. Off season, I believe. Uh, Houston Rockets. I love that they re-signed Tari Eason. They re-signed Tari Eason on a cheap deal, man. It was very cheap. It was like 5 years, 80 million. That's like 15 mil a year. Pretty cheaper than what I what I thought he was gonna get. I think last year he could have got 100 million. I don't know. His agent just got might get fired. Who knows? But great deal for the Rockets though. Bogdanovich, he signs there for 1 year. Marcus Smart is a good deal. I think I really like this Rockets offseason, not gonna lie. They're gonna be more dangerous than they were last season. Because last season it was unwatchable because they didn't really have a true point guard and the spacing was horrible. It was bad. But Marcus Smart, I really love the 2 year deal. He's still like that. He helped the Lakers win a playoff series against this Rockets team, mind you. Um, Also, they traded Dorian Finney-Smith to the Hornets, and they lost Josh Okogie. Josh Okogie, it was probably sting a little bit, but it is what it is, man. But this Rockets offseason, I think it'll be good, and we'll see. You know, when Fred comes back, they'll be a lot better than they were last year. The Pacers, they didn't really have to re-sign anybody. They just brought in guys like Kelly Oubre, 2 year deal, who showed that he could, corner sit and catch and shoot, and play some team defense. Larry Nance on a 1 year deal. I don't know how much minutes or PT these guys are gonna get. They're definitely coming off the bench. I think Kelly Oubre, he's gonna have a rotation off the bench. He won't have to start. Um, and yeah, they just lost Cam Jones and Michael Potter. That's pretty much whatever. And they didn't really have a draft pick because they lost it to the Clippers. So overall, I mean, this all season is just pretty much nothing. I mean, they just traded for Zubac and brought in some backup role players, which is all right. The Clippers, yeah. So they brought back the guys that they originally wanted to bring back. Jordan Miller, Kobe Sanders on 3-4 year deals, pretty fucking solid deals. And then they got Rui Hachimura, who was on the deal, and it was pretty cheap, to be honest. I thought he was gonna ask for like 20 mil a year or something around there, but I think he's making 14 mil a year for 2 years. So that's pretty good. And then obviously they traded away Kawhi Leonard. So they traded Kawhi Leonard for Japanese Kawhi, which is Rui Hachimura. No, I'm just joking, all right? Because we know Rui Hachimura, he's not really that good defensively at all, but he's a really good shooter. But for the Kawhi thing, it's still pending right now. Like, it's not like, because there's like an investigation going on with the Clippers, and once that gets situated, then the deal will, process. But as of right now, yeah. But yeah, they Kawhi, he's back on the Raptors. That's amazing. But they got back Grady Dick and Brandon Ingram. I mean, Clippers, they might be like one of the worst teams, like the relegation zone, I feel like. Hopefully we'll see if I'm wrong, but yeah, Grady Dick I'm not high on at all. Rui, he's a good shooter. He will get his. Brandon Ingram, he'll get his as well in the regular season. Doesn't really matter. But yeah, the Clippers, I think they will be one of the bottom teams for sure if Kawhi leaves. And then the Lakers. The Lakers made tons of moves, man. Tons of moves, but can I say they're good moves? I don't know. Austin Reeves comes back on a massive 4 year deal. I forgot what it might be 40 million a year. Like, if I can remember, it was like 40 million a year. It's like, yeah. And then in free agency, they lost Quentin Grimes. Or no. They added Quentin Grimes on a 4 year deal. Insane. I didn't like that deal at all. 4 years of Quentin Grimes. I'm okay, man. And then Jaden Hardy, it's whatever. Walker Kessler was the big deal that they made, because they sent a deal to the Utah Jazz that they couldn't refuse. They really couldn't. Like the Jazz, I think they were okay with giving him like probably $30 million a year, but the Lakers just came in and said, "Hey, we'll give you all these unprotected first for this guy Walker Kessler," and the Jazz said, "Yeah, might as well." I mean, they're gonna take a step back considering their center position is a little foggy. I don't know how the rotation is gonna be, whether they start Nurkic or they let Jaren Jackson play the 5, even though Jaren Jackson's a really bad rebounder. Don't like that as him playing the 5. So it will probably be mostly Nurkic, hopefully, if they want to win games and stay out of relegation. They bring back Kevon Looney. or not bring him back, but you know, he signs a 1 year deal. He's gonna be a backup. Only played like 20 games for the Pelicans. He was injured, but he's really good defensively. That's what you know bring him in for defense, rotational. Mamu was a good signing though. 4 years for Mamu. I like that. He's a good offensive guy. That he showed at the Raptors, and he could really run in transition. So you know those outlet passes from Luca and Reeves, it's gonna look really good. For Mamu. Colin Sexton 2 year deal. It's whatever. It's only 2 years. Colin Sexton, he does show that he could compete, but overall, it's not. It's not making me jump. It's not like he's gonna be very impactful. And it's funny because like mostly all the starters, practically all the starters from that Lakers Rockets series, they're pretty much gone. Like they have no Aiden. They lost you know, Jackson Hayes, Rui, Luke Kennard, Marcus Smart. They're all gone. That's so crazy to me. This is like a fresh new team for the Lakers. Who knows how competitive they are? I don't know. Defensively, they're gonna be good, but Walker Kessler, you know, he should be protecting the paint though. So that's his job, protecting the paint. He should be doing that. But overall, yeah, I don't know. Let me get through these. Yeah, so the Memphis Grizzlies, they didn't have to resign anybody. They traded Ja. Yeah, they traded Ja, man. That's crazy, right? All it took was Chris Murray, Jeremy Grant as a salary dump, right? And that was a crazy salary jump. They gave Quentin Post a deal. They traded for Isaiah Stewart. This Grizzlies team, they just added bodies. It wasn't even really crazy impactful bodies, like, but you know, they're building around their young guys, man. Cedric Howard, Cam Boozer, Zach Edey. Um, they're gonna keep building around, and I like what the Grizzlies are doing. They're really starting their new era. And then the Miami Heat. Yeah, we didn't even talk about this. Craziest trade of the offseason. Giannis goes to the Bucks, man. Goes to the Bucks for like Tyler Hero, Jaime Jaquez, Kasper Siakachonis, Khalil Ware. There's and like some first round picks. I don't remember the compensation first rounds. Like was it 2, 3? I can't remember. But yeah, man, they go all in for Giannis. Pat Riley, he did it. He woke up and he did it. That's amazing for them. Him and Bam, that backcourt defense is going to be amazing. Like it pretty much is. And then with Andrew Wiggins resigning on a 3 year deal, I don't see anybody scoring on him, to be honest. They get Tim Hardaway Jr. on a 1 year deal, so they add shooting from the Nuggets, so that's really good. Um, and then Bobby Portis was also part of the Giannis deal. I think he'll be good coming off the bench as one of the rotational guys. I think the questions for this Heat team is the depth of this Miami Heat team. I mean, I get it. But at the same time, Miami always has these undrafted second round guys come out of nowhere and like compete every single time. Like that's just how Eric Spoelstra just runs things. What's his name? Ryan Conwell, I believe. Uh, from Louisville, like the Louisville shooter, I believe that's his name. Yeah. He's on the Miami Heat that they drafted in the second round. He's a good shooter, so that'll be another good shooter. For them if he plays his role for sure. So I think the Miami Heat, yeah, they're going all in, man. I really liked it. I really do like this deal for the Heat. They don't really have to give up a lot. I feel like the craziest thing they gave up, obviously, I mean, Heroes. It depends how you view Tyler Hero, but in my opinion, Khalil Ware, I really like Khalil Ware. I think he will be really good for the Bucks, for sure. And then Milwaukee, yeah. We talked about the Giannis trade already, but they re-signed Usman Deng on a 3 year deal, which I really liked. And then Bogo Jub Markovic, they signed him on a multi-year deal. He was their draftee last season in the second round. He's supposed to be good. He's supposed to be good. That they draft and stash from the EuroLeague, so he's gonna be playing next season. He should be good. So we got to see how that happens. But yeah, Milwaukee, they might be one of the worst teams. Who knows? But if they could stay out of that relegation zone, that'd be cool. Also, they have Burries and Nate Ament, so it really is another era for the Bucks. Minnesota. Obviously, we talked about the LaMelo Ball trade earlier. It was really good for them. I side with the Wolves on that one. They brought back Ayo Dosunmu on a massive 4-year, $100 million deal. That is crazy. Shout out my boy Ayo. Like I loved him as watching from Illinois to Chicago. That is a massive contract though. So hopefully that doesn't bite him in the butt, because who knows if, I mean, he's coming off the bench now, right? Like you can't start him after getting LaMelo now, right? Jalen Clark comes back, Bones Highland comes back, um, Trey Lyles, like it. They didn't make massive additions besides LaMelo Ball, which is huge. They lost obviously Randall Nas, Mike Conley, Kyle Anderson. Like this is gonna be a new look, man. Uh, they keep Rudy Gobert, which is massive for them already. So I really love that they keep Rudy Gobert. Who's gonna be their four? I don't know yet. I don't know who the hell is gonna play their four, but we ought to find out. We ought to find out in the future, right? New Orleans Pelicans, worst offseason of all time. I mean, what is Joe Dumars doing? They brought back one DeAndre Jordan. That's it. That's all they did. They didn't even have in the draft. You can't even give them a grade because their their only draft pick was Jaron Pierre Jr. I believe that's his name. Like with the 58th pick or something. Like, yeah, that's bad. They didn't do anything. They didn't trade. They haven't traded Trey Murphy yet. They're trying to, but they tax him as a three first round guy. He's not worth 3 first round picks, in my opinion. I don't even think he's worth, like, he's not worth that. I'm sorry. Like he's really good as a scorer. Like he has range, but that's I don't see him as that type of player where you send 3 first round picks for him. Oh man, really horrible. New York Knicks. Yeah, they lost Mitchell Robinson. I mean, they couldn't hold him because of money situations, right? They get Andre Drummond back instead to be the backup. Ariel Hukporti leaves. So they majority of this Knicks offseason is just bringing everyone back, like Jose Alvarado, Clarkson, Diawara, Shamit. So it was just bringing everyone back besides Mitchell Robinson, but they replaced him with Drummond, who's a good rebounder, as we already know. So yeah, they intend to just run it back with the same guys that they won the chip with. OKC, um, I like them bringing Isaiah Hartenstein back. I'm not gonna lie, I thought he was gonna be well done. I thought he was gonna be done, man. But I wonder what happens if Lou Dort stays too. I mean, I don't know. Kenrich Williams comes back on a 1-year deal. I guess nobody else wanted him unless he just wanted to stay for the low. They only lose Isaiah Joe and Aaron Wiggins. They didn't really add anybody crazy onto the lineup. They just add through the draft as they always do, like Ade Mara, and Bennett Sturts. So yeah, they got big. They obviously want to go big because they're trying to beat Wemby, and yeah, that's their goal. Just trying to get back to the finals again, and one guy's in their way, and it's fucking Wemby. The Magic, they didn't do a lot either. They didn't. They just brought back Nikola Vucevic on a 1-year deal, cheap deal. So he'll probably be playing backup for sure. Man, how the mighty have fallen, man. Javon Carter and Jonathan Isaac they brought back. Isn't crazy. The Orlando Magic, yeah, they didn't do a lot. Really didn't. They're running it back. The only big thing that they did was change their coach. They got Sean Sweeney from the Spurs, so I guess you can't be mad about that, right? That's really what they needed. They have a lot of talent. They just needed a different coach, and that's what they did. So I'm liking what the Magic will probably do for forward for sure. The Sixers very active in the offseason, man. Obviously, the Jaylen Brown trade that we talked about. I felt like, man, bringing in Jaylen Brown, it looks cool on paper, but can it actually work on the court? A lot of ball heavy, dominant guys in that starting rotation as it is. And then you take a look at the bench. The bench doesn't look pretty. All right, it really doesn't. Uh, they got Anthony Simons on a 2-year deal. I think he's a cool bench player. You could just come off and just be a spark. Um, Hook Porty's whatever. Dean Wade, I actually like that deal though. Dean Wade's gonna start if they don't get LeBron, obviously, because that's another team that's on the market for him. But yeah, I like that they didn't bring back Quinn Grimes. Kelly Oubre, he obviously could go. I'd rather have Dean Wade than Kelly Oubre. Um, but yeah, it should be very fun for the Sixers to watch. I mean, like, yeah, on paper, Maxey, Edgecombe, Jaylen Brown, um, Joel Embiid, yeah, if he plays. And then their rookie, LeBaron Philon. I love LeBaron Philon. It looks good on paper, but we ought to see how well they gel together and if they're able to move the rock and, not cost themselves, you know, a playoff series in the second round again. So, yeah, we ought to see what happens in the future for that, man. The Phoenix Suns, they were good, man. It was re-signings, like their re-signings were really good. I mean, like they brought back Colin Gillespie on a cheap 4-year deal, Jordan Goodwin on a cheap 3-year deal. He's one of the best perimeter defenders. Mark Williams on a cheap 3-year deal. These guys, their agents are crazy. Um, but what I didn't like is them trading for Miles Bridges. That was pretty stupid. They gave up like an unprotected first in the future to give up for Miles Bridges. Pretty dumb. They didn't really need to do that at all, but they did it anyway. And but I like the Luke Kennard that they got 2-year deal for Luke Kennard. He's sniper. Uh, they just replaced Grayson Allen with Luke Kennard, and I feel like that's a really good upgrade. But everything was really good for the Suns besides the Miles Bridges trade. That's pretty much it. Robert Williams for the Blazers. Yeah, the Blazers, they traded John Morant. They traded for John Morant. It's really interesting, like who's gonna go because their point guard rotation consists of Ja, Damian Lillard, Drew Holiday, and Scoot Henderson. 4 freaking point guards. One of them's got to go. If one of them's got to go, it's probably going to be Drew Holiday that goes, or maybe Scoot Henderson. I don't know. The Blazers, they made it seem that Ja and Dame are going to start together. Pretty insane. So we got to see what happens that in the future, man. But them keeping Robert Williams it's a win. I mean, he's on a 3-year deal. Robert Williams was really good when he's healthy. Obviously, he's always good when he's healthy. But it would have been cool if he went to a different team. But it is what it is. Um, yeah, so they only lost Jeremy Grant and Chris Murray. I think overall it was pretty good. Like the value that they got back is good, but they got to figure out like the rotations and who the hell they got to, ship off for this team to work out. Um and they got a new head coach as well. Oh yeah, it was Micah Nori. Micah Nori. The assistant coach for the Timberwolves. They signed him on like a was it like a 2-year deal, but like it's like a team option in his second year. Like pretty much like after 1 year coaching with the Blazers, he could be set off free. Like who knows? Who knows? Like the Blazers are so cheap, man. Looking for a coach, but Micah Nori, he was a good favorite in this coaching carousel. So we'll see how well they do over there. Sacramento Kings, they didn't really add anybody. They lost Devin Carter, re-signed Precious Achiuwa and Daquan Plowden. Yeah, I think the Kings are going to be probably the worst team in the league, if not like bottom 3 teams. Like regardless, I'm sorry. That's just how I feel, guys. I feel like they're the worst defensive team in the league, and I wouldn't be surprised if they had terrible odds coming next season. Darius Acuff, the draft, that's like their bright spot. Other than that, everything else is pretty bad. And DeMar DeRozan, they didn't add this in, but he got waived, I believe. He got released. And who know? Oh yeah, I forgot. Who knows where DeMar DeRozan is gonna go, right? It would be interesting what kind of team actually does that, because DeMar, I don't like that on a contender. The Spurs, they brought back their guys. Harrison Barnes 1 year. Julian Champagnie extension was really good, and then Victor Wembanyama, he re-signs on a 5-year extension already. A year earlier, like a $250 million extension. He could have got a $300 million extension, but he chose to take a discount, like pretty much of a $50 million pay cut, uh, just because I don't know. He's a winner, so he wants to make the team flexible, especially with De'Aaron Fox making all that money, and that's crazy. De'Aaron Fox making more money than Wemby, like that's insane. Um, and obviously Stephon Castle, he's looking out for him to get his extension as well as Dylan Harper. So, he's doing what's best for the team. And then they brought back or they didn't bring him back. I gotta stop saying that. They got Tobias Harris on a 2-year deal. Really love this deal. To plug in at the 4, really good defensive guy, and he could score on any given night. Any given night when he's open, he could do that, man. I really like this addition by the Spurs. Really underrated, and they didn't lose anybody. Uh, Also, I think Billy Donovan, if I'm not mistaken, Billy Donovan is the assistant coach. He's the assistant coach for the Spurs now. Yeah, that happened as well. So that's really good in my opinion. That's really good. The Toronto Raptors, they traded for Kawhi Leonard. I really love this team. Their front court's going to be amazing defensively as well. Paired up with the Miami Heat, right? Like that's going to be crazy if they land this Kawhi Leonard trade if it processes through. Like him, CMB, um I mean, Allen Graves was really good. Scotty Barnes. How could I forget about Scotty? But Scotty Barnes is definitely going to be starting with Kawhi, and hopefully CMB's maybe the 5. But I don't know. Jakob Poeltl, man, that contract's still yucky to me. And they didn't lose anything much. They didn't lose anything. So I really like the Raptors off season so far. If I had to give it a grade, it would probably be an A. Utah Jazz. Obviously, after the Walker Kessler deal, they re-signed centers like Nurkic, Mo Bamba, and they went in and got Jackson Hayes, and they got Josh Okogie on the 2-year deal. So yeah, they got 3 big men. Walker Kessler, the deal, like I said earlier, it was too good to pass up, and it's crazy. The Lakers, they don't have control over their picks, their first round picks for the next 7 years. It's crazy to think about, considering you have Luka Doncic and you can't really make a big splashes like the Lakers. They're gonna have to hit on every free agency signing and every draft pick for the next 7 years. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much what it is, bro. I wish I said that earlier for the Lakers, but if all the Lakers fans made it here now, like now you know, like that's crazy. Um, and then finally the Washington Wizards. I didn't like the Trae Young extension, 4 years for Trae Young, massive deal. It was like a $200+ million extension. That's insane. And who knows? I think AD is gonna want a massive extension as well. They traded for DeAndre Ayton and they got Chris Middleton. Um, so yeah, I don't know, man. The Wizards, a lot of people think they're gonna be a big playoff team. Maybe they will. Maybe I'll eat my words. People say they're gonna be a top 4 seed. They're gonna be making the playoffs. They're gonna. I've heard real life people. Trust me, I'm not making this up. Real life people saying they have uh, a good chance making the Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, this team has been so overrated by a lot of people just because I mean they got the number 1 pick. Like congrats to them. They they deserve it. They've been poverty for the past like 50 years damn near. And when I mean poverty, I mean like they haven't won they haven't had a regular season with 50 wins since like 1978. Like that's crazy to me. That's absolutely crazy. Now, on paper, the Wizards, they have a lot of names and a lot of young guys, so it's a really good mix of players, but for me, I'm not a big fan of Brian Keefe, their head coach. I don't think he's going to do well with this squad. Um and then I wonder how the rotations is really going to look. I mean, they could be good. But Anthony Davis, could we trust how healthy he's going to be in the regular season? Um, who's going to start? I mean, Keyshawn George is going to probably start with AJ, Trey, AD, Sar. I mean, the shooting, the spacing, it doesn't really sound appealing at all. Unless Trey Johnson starts, which I low-key like that better, but it is what it is. They have Bilal Coulibaly, who's a really good defensive guy coming off the bench. He's not a good offensive guy either, though. Um, Chris Middleton, I love that they got Chris Middleton. I mean, that's pretty crazy that he's back. I wish he would have went to a contender or whatever, but yeah, he's coming off the bench. I don't want to sound like a hater or anything, but like I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of expectations for a team that's just starting to like this is a brand new team. Like they haven't stepped on the floor together yet. Like is it gonna really take one off season and one season for them to get to that level where they're better than the Knicks, the Raptors? Are they gonna be better than the Magic? Are they even gonna be better than the Heat? Are they even gonna be better than the Cavaliers? You know? Are they even gonna be better than the Indiana Pacers who are coming back potentially healthy, you know? Like there's a lot of teams in the East that people are like overlooking, and I feel like it's a little crazy, but I wish them nothing but the best for the Wizards. Their future is bright, don't get it wrong, but don't expect crazy amount of success in year one. Like this is a building block for the Wizards, and I just want to get this rant off because man, there's a lot of expectations for this Wizards team to just succeed just like that overnight, and they think it takes like overnight for them to to exceed expectations. It just doesn't happen. I don't see it happening one bit. So thanks for the staying for my rant if you wanted to listen to that. But overall though, yeah, there's a lot of deals still need to be made and decisions. By the time this video out, I wouldn't be surprised if LeBron made his decision or Jalen Duren gets extended or Peyton Watson, DeMar DeRozan, whatever. But yeah, but overall as an NBA fan, just this class and like all these free agency moves, I just can't wait. I honestly can't. So I appreciate you for staying at the end of the video and thank you for listening. Um, and yeah, man, I'll see you on the next one. Hopefully I post sooner rather than later. Peace out.